Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. We are live with our Watch the Flags Book Club introduction this morning. If you're tuning in, please feel free to put where you're joining from in the comments. I'd love to see where you're joining us from. Make sure you tell us hello and give us an opportunity to let us know where you're coming from. Good morning. Good morning. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the share button. Invite some of your single friends, people that are looking for relationships on with us this morning is going to be an absolute awesome time that we're going to have concerning relationships and this new book that we're going to be reading today. So make sure you hit the share button. Make sure you like it. You invite, say, hey, girl, are you up this morning? I want to share something with you. I need you to join in with us this morning. So we'll give everybody a few minutes to jump on and invite your friends. Grab a cup of coffee, grab a cup of tea. Let's have a conversation this morning. We're so excited that you're here. So let me know that you're on. Let me know what city you're coming from. And I'd love to know that you're on with us this morning. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. And if you're sharing for the first time, there is a little bit of there's a little process you've got to do. It says that at the top of the post, it should say, give StreamYard permission to share your comment. Make sure you click that because otherwise I won't be able to show your beautiful face and it's just going to show up as Facebook user. Okay. So if you're joining us from Facebook, make sure at the top of the post, it should give you an option to allow StreamYard to share your comments so that we can see your identity. Good morning. Hey, we got Sue from Alabama. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome. We're so excited to be talking about our subject this morning, this new book that we're going to be reviewing called Watch the Red Flags. It's actually Watch the Flags. We always want to say red flags, but there are actually some green flags that we need to make sure that we're aware of as well. So make sure you hit the share button. Make sure you like this video. Also go to our YouTube channel, which is Queen Cassandra Haynes, and like our YouTube channel as well. We're giving everybody a few moments to jump on and we'll get started shortly. Grab a cup of coffee or some tea, something like that. Make sure that you are on and comfortable for this next 30 to 45 minutes. We're going to do our introduction to our book club this morning. Good morning from Alabama. Make sure you give StreamYard permission to see your comments, okay? Right now, it's just showing you as Facebook user. So at the top of the post that you joined, there should be a link that says allow StreamYard to show my comments. Okay. And that way I can see you, who you are and your name. Greetings from Forest City, North Carolina. Thank you so very much for joining. Welcome, everybody. Make sure you hit the share button. Make sure you hit the like button. Let some people know that we're on this morning. This is going to be an exciting conversation about dating and relationships. And we're going to get into this morning in just a moment. Make sure that you look at the top of the post that you joined. Give StreamYard permission to view your comments so I can see your names. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. And let me good morning, good morning. Make sure you hit the share button. I'm going to grab my phone and we'll be starting in just a moment, okay? Good morning, everybody. Thank you all so much, very much for joining. Hopefully, you've had an opportunity to hit the like button, hit the share button. Thank you all so much for joining this morning. We have people on. I see your comments. Make sure that you have given StreamYard permission to see your comments so that I can see your name. Good morning, Kamisha Griffin from Forest City, North Carolina. Hi, Julia Colbreth. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining. Okay, you got it. All right, gain access. Yes. So make sure if your comment is not showing on the screen, it just shows like this as Facebook user. Make sure at the top of the post that you are gaining access or giving access to StreamYard so I can see your comments. Good morning, everybody. Hi, Victoria Blue Haynes. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We're so excited. Scott Jackson, good morning. Thank you so much for joining. Welcome, everybody, to our Saturday morning book club. Now, this is our very first episode of this particular book. The book is called Watch the Flags. As you can see here, I'm going to post, I'm going to let you see the cover of the book one more time. They post, if you haven't purchased the book, you can purchase the book from the link that's posted on Facebook as well, so that you can see, where to purchase the book from. There are several different outlets, of course, Amazon. You can also purchase it from Dr. Conway's store as well. This is going to be magnificent, y'all. Just the introduction today is going to be phenomenal. So I am so excited that you're taking out time on your Saturday morning to have this conversation with me today about watching the flags, relationships, and dating. So we know that there's millions and millions of things happening right now in this world. We want to educate ourselves, but most of all, we want to be in the know when it comes to our lives, our relationships. We're going to talk a little bit about the concept of the flags, green flags, red flags, and where we should be paying attention to as we are out here in these dating streets. Okay, because we know we are definitely in the dating streets. All right, COVID is open back up. They say that we outside again. So we want to make sure that as we are embracing dating, relationships of all kinds, that we are knowledgeable. And we're going to talk some about that we are mature. We're going to talk a little bit about that. And most of all, that we are aware of what's happening out here in these dating streets. All right. So good morning, everybody. It is Saturday morning. I am Queen Cassandra Haynes. I'm so excited that you are here. And again, if you have single friends, male, female, I want you to encourage them. This is not just for females. This is for males too, because we know that the males are out here in these dating streets as well. And we want to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to understand what's going on out here. All right. Good morning, Vanessa Hollis. Thank you so much for joining. Welcome. Okay, so we're going to get started this morning. Thank you all for tuning in. Make sure that as you're jumping off and on, that you're letting me know that you're here and where you are tuning in from as we get started this morning. So again, welcome to our Saturday morning book club. We're so excited that you are here. We will be here every morning, every Saturday morning rather. Here are our logistics of our book club, that we will be here every Saturday morning for the next few weeks as we cover the book at 10 a.m. on Facebook and YouTube. I'm working on Instagram Live right now, but for now, you can find me here on Facebook. Also, if you go to Queen Cassandra Haynes in the YouTube directory, you'll find us there. And we can also we will also be live on YouTube as well, and you can comment and participate from YouTube. No negativity. We are here for positivity. We are here to talk about an engaging topic, and we know everybody has a lot to say when it comes to dating, but no rude comments, because you will be invited to the Queen Block Party. Okay, you will be on the block list. So we don't have that over here. We are queens and kings, and we will behave ourselves accordingly. Okay. So again, feel free to make comments as we are having our discussion today. If there is a comment that I want to expound upon, I will click it. It will show up on the screen, and we will be able to have comments. If you have questions as well, feel free to put them in the comment box. And as we have the opportunity, we will address your questions as we engage in this conversation as well. All right. So here we go, ladies and gents. So let's talk a little bit about why I'm even doing this, okay? Because we know that there are millions of people who have lots of podcasts, lots of broadcasts, lots of things. I decided to do this because number one, I felt compelled to do it, and I believe that that compelling was coming from God. I had recently had a situation that happened in the dating world, and I decided that I wanted to take this opportunity to use my situation. What they say, always turn your pain into passion. So this actually became a situation that I was very disappointed in, that happened, that kind of took me completely off guard. And I decided that I was going to go find some help. I've been married before, and as I ventured out into the dating world, things are really different than they used to be out here in these dating streets, especially with social media. People can be whoever they want to be, and you may feel that you're talking to somebody, and it may not be even who you thought it was. People are using artificial intelligence to change their image, their face. There are so many things that's happening out here in these dating streets, y'all. So I am doing this simply because I want to share my experience in the dating world and recovering from divorce and all of that, and being back out here dating again. I want to talk about it openly so that we have a venue and opportunity to discuss some of the things that we may not get a chance to in church and our other civic clubs. We may not have that opportunity. So I'm hoping that this will be a platform over the next couple of weeks that we will learn together. But most of all, we will have this conversation about dating and what's going on social media and in these dating streets. Okay. So that is why I'm doing it. It's simply because I want to share my experience, and I want to make sure that we are embracing those of us who have been married before, back out here dating, never been married, want to be married, don't really know how to date. Maybe your spouse has passed away, and you're trying to figure out how to get back out here and what things should I know. There's some people that there's one young lady who's been married since she was 18. Her husband passed away. She's 56 and she has no idea how to date. So hopefully, as we go through this over the next couple of weeks, we'll have some knowledge and some experience under our belts, and we'll know how to recognize the flags, green or red, because there are some good things we need to be looking for too, not just the red flags. All right. So this is going to be a conversation where we're going to have the opportunity to, relate to each other and ask those questions and talk openly about some things. Good morning, my brother Darian House. Thank you so much for joining. Hi, Ladecia Higgs. Good morning, Valerie Jackson. Yes. So yes, meeting the representative. Actually, we're going to talk about the representative. Yes, that is one of our discussion points that we will be embracing as we go throughout this book. So yes, that whole representative thing is completely real. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about it this morning. So we know our rules. We're going to be here every Saturday morning at 10. We're not going to be negative, and we are going to talk about the pitfalls of dating. All right, so the pitfalls of dating, guess what? They start with you. Okay, so one thing I've had to realize during this process of dating and being out here, that it starts with me. I got to think about, okay, I have to address me first in order for me to date. So what does that mean? It simply means that I have to take personal responsibility for my choices when it comes to relationships. All right, y'all. So this first one this week, we're going to talk simply about your own piece of the relationship dating streets. All right. So what is my part in this? Maybe it seems like everybody I'm meeting, everybody I'm marrying, everybody that I'm coming across is a hot mess. But honestly, what is it? So let's talk a little bit about us. We have our own responsibility when it comes to the subject of relationships. This first bomb that he dropped in this book, and again, this is the book, y'all see the little icon up there. It's called Watch the Flags. And we're going through just the introduction today, but the introduction itself was so heavy that we have to talk about it. Okay, so in this introduction, the first bomb that he dropped on us was that who you choose is a reflection of how you feel inside. What? Are you serious? So if you think about your relationships and what has gone on in your past, he has this concept that who you choose is a reflection of how you feel inside. So if I'm choosing people that are a hot mess, I got to ask myself, why am I choosing them? Am I choosing them because that's how I feel? Am I a hot mess? If I'm choosing people who are abusive, who I accept behavior from that is unacceptable, if everybody I dated or was married to was a liar, what is it in me that allowed that to be okay? We have personal responsibility when it comes to the dating world, y'all. And the people that we choose and the folks that we allow in our space, not only in dating, but in friendships, in our work environment, behaviors. Are we accepting things that we should not be accepting? Why? Is there a deficit in me that is allowing that it feels like maybe I've got to settle? This whole thing of settling is real. Don't listen. You can get to a point where you like, my biological clock is ticking. Everybody around me is married. All my friends having a good time. The appearance is real now. But truly, are we accepting things we shouldn't be accepting? What is it in us that has allowed the pattern of what we've seen when it comes to relationships? The love you think you deserve. Yes. Make sure you grant access so we can see who this is. Okay. Look at the top of the post and grant access so we can see your name. Darian. Yes. It's so true. Listen, who you date, who you decide is okay to be in your space is a reflection of how you feel inside. So part of what we're going to do in this book club is not only address the phenomena of dating, we're going to talk about self-improvement. What is it in us? Self-realization, actualization of self-awareness. There are some people that are living this life totally unaware of their behavior, of their triggers. Triggers is a real thing too, y'all. Of their triggers, things that people do or say that kind of just take them over the edge. There are lots of things in this dating world that we've got to talk about in this book club, okay? So again, we must be accountable for our actions. Come on, Darren, you're going to help me. Come on, you're going to help me today. Yes, I love it. All right. So after we realize that it's a reflection of who we are inside, let's talk about self-inflicted damage. All right. So the first phenomenon is, number one, we accept responsibility that maybe the pattern that I've had in dating and the reason why I'm single again has to do with me. Okay. Think about it. Ponder over it, read more about it in the book. All right. The next thing he's talking about is self-inflicted damage, the personal turmoil that comes from poor choices. I guarantee you that if those of us who are struggling in this dating world, there's something else in our life that's not quite together. There is a cycle of something that repeats itself over and what is it that we're not addressing? What is it? It says it's usually a cycle where each choice produces a little more pain and misery, where we keep doing self-inflicted damage to ourselves. Maybe we made a bad decision the first time. We said, okay, I see that, but you know what? I'm sure I can help them. All right. Then we do it. We try to help them. It ends up hurting us more than it helps. The relationship ends and we don't address it. We just say, okay, they didn't want it like I wanted it, right? Then we go to the next one and we say, I see that right there too. But honestly, I've dealt with that before. I think it'll be okay. So we get into that relationship and guess what? It's not okay. But what are we noticing in our patterns? Are we self-inflicting damage on ourselves in this dating process because we're making poor choices? And we're going to talk a little bit about how to make better choices. We're going to get there. It says it's a cycle where your choices produce a little bit more pain, a little bit more pain, a little bit more pain. And guess what? If you don't unpack what's happening in your previous relationships, then what are you going to keep doing? Self-inflicting damage upon yourself. So again, as we begin this book club, we're talking about us, personal responsibility. What do we have in this game of dating? Because it's like chess. It's strategic. I'm telling you, y'all, this is a strategic thing. And we've got to be able to recognize our own pathways that we've gone down that have caused us to inflict pain upon ourselves. What are we doing? That self-inflicted pain, emotional, mental anguish that we're putting ourselves through, have we unpacked that from the past? So as you embrace dating again, have you taken the time to see where it went wrong? Did you have any responsibility? Yes, you did. I guarantee you there was something you could have done a little bit better. Or maybe you entered it in compromising from the beginning. Compromise from the beginning is it because let me tell y'all something. If it is a problem when you meet them, the likelihood of it changing is very slim. So in this dating world, first of all, we have to realize our responsibility. And next, we have to stop the compromising. We've got to stop feeling like I can love someone hard enough that they will change. Because the truth of the matter is, if they're like that when you meet them, the probability of that changing is very, very slim. Okay? At the end of the day, we've got to know how I meet you. I got to be willing to accept you as you are. Because truthfully, as you get older, especially, some things will change. Stop trying to fix others. Yes, yes, yes. Take the time to know your worth. And I want to just give a shout out to Miss Lindsay Easton. This is my therapist, y'all. I'm so glad she's on. I believe in therapy. As I have gone through the dating world and through relationships and marriage, and it hasn't worked out, I've had to do this work myself. That's why I'm talking about this. And I'm so grateful to have a therapist who has helped me unpack some of the things from the past, things that were my fault, things were not my fault. So shout out to Miss Lindsay Easton. Check her out, y'all. Okay, so it's going to grow and become bigger. Yes, 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 yes. All right, so let's get into this. Okay, so we've accepted our responsibility. We understand that we're going through self-inflicting damage to ourselves. So what is required for us to be in these dating streets in 2023? Number one, dating requires maturity. According to the book, he's talking about the concept of maturity. Maturity being life lessons that produce wisdom so that the next time you're faced with the similar choice, you will avoid the option that will cause self-inflicted damage. So number one, are you mature enough to even be dating? And maturity has nothing to do with how old you are. Okay. Are you mature enough to embrace this process of dating? Okay. Because dating is it's a process and it's for gathering information. Some of us have gotten into this thing that there's only one person in this world that's for me, and I just got to have that soulmate, that one person that God created for me. Well, if that was true, then why have we been in several relationships, right? So we have to change that mindset that we're going to follow, love at first sight, infatuate, all of that. Listen, in 2023, you have to do your work. It's a process to dating. It requires maturity, which means patience and being willing to slow it down in order to gather enough information. All right. So life lessons, maturity requires you to use the life lessons that you learned in the past to produce wisdom so that the next time you see those same characteristics, you've seen those same behaviors, you see this person doing the same thing other people did, and if it caused you anxiety, stress, depression before, guess what? Probably gonna do it again. So maturity is required in this dating world because you got to use wisdom and take time to know people to know. Last time I dealt with somebody, when they got mad, they became vicious, upset, violent. Then guess what? If I take my time the next time and situation comes up and this person gets upset again, if they are vicious, angry, violent, then guess what? That is a repeat situation. It didn't work for me last time. I'm going to choose this time to not inflict damage upon myself and go through that again. There is nothing in the rule book that says you can't take your time when it comes to dating. And I made this mistake in the past where I let the person rush me into a relationship and feeling like we had to be exclusive and serious right away. They wanted to lock it down. And I thought it was flattering. But truth of the matter is, they were trying to get me reeled in before I found out the real information about who they were. So dating requires maturity, and also maturity produces patience and wisdom. So number one, you got to be willing to be mature about dating. Am I willing to take my time? Am I willing to get to know them? Am I willing to ask questions? I feel dating to me has become an information gathering process. Yes, it has. And I was speaking to someone, asking them some questions that I felt like were important for me to know. Because again, dating is about gathering information, right? And the person said, I don't feel like you should be asking me a lot of questions. I know that God led me to you. So we gotta do this thing, and we just gotta figure this out as we go along. No, sir. At this age, I am 46 years old. I have had 46 years of experience. I am going to ask you what I want to know. I am going to question what things are important to me, because at this point, I have enough to lose in my life that I can't continue to produce self-inflicting damage upon myself. So if you are dating, if you are conversating, and the person does not want you to ask them questions, then that means, what is it that you've done or are hiding that you don't want me to know? Can I ask you questions? Yes, prayer and appeal. Come on, take your time. Yeah, absolutely take your time. This is my Auntie Ellen. Take your time. Yes. She's dating after losing her husband. Guess what? She is back dating and she's taking her time. There is nothing that says you got to do this thing fast. All right. It doesn't matter about your age. As soon as you see it, yes, come on. Yes, you better ask. We got to ask. Don't listen. Wrong answer, sir. Okay. Whoever this is, I love your response. Make sure you click the gain access at the top of the post so I can see who you are. Wrong answer, sir. I'm going to ask questions. I'm sorry that you don't want me to, but guess what? This is my life. What did we say in the beginning? This starts with you. So if you don't take yourself seriously enough to ask questions, gather data and information so that you can make a decision, then you're not mature enough to be dating. I need to use the wisdom that I've obtained from my previous experiences to make better choices. So guess what? Maybe you dated someone, you saw it in the beginning, but you thought, okay, well, they're going to be different. Maybe, once we start dating, he sees the person I am, then they'll change. No, it's about making quality over quantity decisions in this dating world. Okay. You got to ask questions. You need to ask. So if you had to do something, this is one of my favorite questions that I ask in the dating world. If you look back over your last 2 or 3 relationships, what is the common theme that you feel you could have done differently? Wow. That is a question that will allow them to, number one, they've got to think about it. Or you're going to see immediately, if they haven't thought about it, that means they haven't done their work. And you don't want to be connected or dating someone who hasn't done their work. Guess what? Because they're going to expect you to do it for them. It is not for me to fix you. That's why you need a therapist. Shout out Lindsay Eason. That's why you need a therapist. You need to address your baggage. You need to address your insecurities, because I'm not coming into this situation to fix you. You should be whole before I get to you. I don't like to hear people say, oh my God, they complete me. No, because if something happens, I become disabled, God forbid, he takes me away from you. You still need to be a complete person without me. Listen, y'all, some of this stuff we're doing, you're putting too much pressure on the people that you are dating because you're expecting them to fix you. It is not for someone else to complete you. If God and you yourself are not enough, guess what? That person's not going to be enough either. It's not left up to someone else to fix you. You and God have to do that for you. Yes, he got upset. I already know he's not the one. He is not the one. All right. So it is too much responsibility. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's too much responsibility to ask someone to fix you. You got to do it yourself. So listen, maturity, slowing down is important in this dating game. Listen, pay attention to yourself. Analyze your relationships from the past and take a moment to document what you see looking back retrospectively. Okay, so this is an exercise that I think is important for us to do as we are in dating this conversation, as we are embracing this conversation about dating. You need to pay attention to yourself. Some of us are just simply not self-aware. We overcompensate. We overcompensate for other people. You know what? Guess what? They don't ever have any money, so I'm gonna just go ahead and pay because no, you don't do that. You're overcompensating too early in the game. Don't stop this overcompensating for other people's inadequacies. Okay, if they don't have it together, if you can't afford to take me, wait, listen, y'all. If you can't afford to take you. If you can't, I can't even get this out because this is such an annoyance to me. If you can't take me to where I already afford to eat on my own, then guess what? Financially, we're not equal. Now, not to say that a person has to make the same money you make, but you got to look at value. Okay, let's talk about value for a moment. So when you're dating, pay attention to yourself. As a single person, are you the one who's always overcompensating for what the other person doesn't have? So whether it's financial, whether it's emotional, whether it's spiritual, am I the one that's always jumping to the responsibility to make things better? Is the other person a taker and I'm always the giver? Or is there a desire for mutual respect, mutual giving? Even if the person financially is not where I am financially, is there value in them that compensates for that particular area being less than where I am? These are intelligent questions that you have got to ask as you are dating in 2023. Why? Because a lot of people are looking for the come up, y'all. There are a lot of people that are out here dating just simply because they want to do better financially and they haven't figured out how to do it themselves. So they are looking for targets to get money from. So even though you don't want to date according to finances, you want to make sure that the value that that person is offering you is equal to where you are from that standpoint. So yes, okay, maybe the person makes less than me, but are they making the time, the commitment, the effort to date me on a level that is where I am and that I am satisfied with, where I do not have to compromise who I am to go on a date, compromise who I am to be around them? Are we dating on a level that is satisfactory for me? As an adult, again, dating requires maturity. So you've got to be able to have that retrospective look to say, I've agreed, okay, the person asked me out. If they say, you know what, I can't afford to take you to Fogo de Choi, which is a 5-star Brazilian steakhouse, but we're gonna go to Longhorns. You're gonna pay, and because of the date, there's some other things that he brings value to you, intelligent conversation. Well, guess what? Maybe he can't afford the 5-star steakhouse, but Longhorns may do. Only you know what works for you. But at the end of the day, it's got to bring value, quality to you so that you're not compromising yourself as you embrace dating that person. So pay attention from the past. Look back and say, you know what? The last time I did this, I felt undervalued in our first date. If you feel undervalued in the first date, that is usually the person giving their very best. And when you first meet them. So if you feel undervalued on the first date, then you are compromising if you continue that way. It's looking back to say, you know what? Let me take assessment. What happened when I did this last time? Why did I choose this person last time? What happened? Even when, and I put on here, not only people, but organizations. When you're thinking about a job or a business matter, look at the past. Look at their star ratings. Look at their star ratings. Look at the reviews. You know what? I believe that Facebook and Instagram are a person's personal reviews. So if you look at back at Facebook, you looking at Instagram, and people are always negative on their page. They're always down and out. They're reaching out for, they're always depressed. They're talking about how they want to end their life. There are things going on their Facebook page. That is their star rating. You know, we have a star rating in the United States. Stars 1 star to 5 stars. That is your star rating. Take a look. Read back at some of the comments. Look through the Facebook. Say, you know what? I'm going to do a little Facebook scrolling. Get information. What happened last time? You don't want to judge the person based off your past, but what you do want to do is have wisdom to learn for what you've been through before. Okay, let's take a look at some of these comments. Sometimes, all right, make sure y'all gain access so we can see who you are. You've got to have self-love for, yes, definitely self-love. Sometimes you have to walk away, and you always got to walk away and choose you. Listen, if you are not married in a committed married relationship, you should always choose you. This is one of the mistakes that I've made in the past, is in the dating world, is that I've started doing wifely things in the dating phase. I'm not choosing me. Sacrifice comes into when you are at the level of exclusive commitment. If we are not at the level of exclusive commitment, then I should not be denying myself first in this situation. What do y'all think about that? I'm interested to hear the comments on that, because I know everybody has different views when it comes to sacrifice in relationships. But if we are not exclusive, and we've got to have, and first of all, we've got to have the exclusive conversation. And this is something we're going to talk about a little bit later as we go through these Saturdays. But stop feeling like you're in a relationship with someone if you all have not sat down and had the exclusive relationship conversation. Just because someone comes over, just because you go on dates, just because you may have engaged with them sexually, just because you all are hooking up and Netflix and chill, does not mean that you are in a committed exclusive relationship. Okay, I want to kill that, because people are going through hurt and heartache because they feel like the person is doing them wrong when they find out they're dating multiple people and all this kind of stuff. But guess what? If you all did not sit down and have the exclusive relationship conversation, then you are not in an exclusive relationship. Men, women, boy, girl, it doesn't matter. You are not in an exclusive relationship if you have not had that conversation. Stop thinking that because a person entertains you and that they are excited when you're around, that they want to be with you permanently. They want to be with you in it. Stop assuming. You've got to ask. You got to be mature in dating and say, you know what? Where are we? Are we exclusive? Have we made the decision that we're not going to date anyone else? Have we made the decision that we're going to be moving toward marriage? What is the purpose of where we are right now? And let's have this conversation. Because there are so many, especially women, we entertain people, we feel like, and especially if we start having sex. If we start having sex with someone on a regular basis, people feel like they're in a relationship. Well, guess what? And this is going to be raw. This is not necessarily just for Christians, so I hope y'all realize that by now. And guess what? If you're having sex with somebody, you know, I read a thing that said vagina has feelings, penis doesn't. Okay, so that means that women, we get attached through sexual encounters. Most men don't. So if you feel like you're in a relationship just because you're having sex with that person, guess what? If you have not had that conversation, then you're probably not. And you may not be the only one. That goes for men, and there are some women who are just having a good time. They are entertaining who they are with for the day, and they will make you feel like you're the only person. But guess what? Behind the scenes, there's probably someone else they're entertaining too. But if you are not mature about dating and you don't sit down and have that relationship, and be okay if the person says, I'm not at the point where I want to be exclusive, or I haven't decided where I'm at right now. I'm just dating to enjoy life. Then, and you want to be serious and you're ready for marriage, then guess what? Stop inflicting pain on yourself without having the right conversations. Wow, that went way over there. That was a download. But I'm telling you, we've got to do better. Tamika says if he doesn't talk to you before marriage, he probably won't after. That's right. Oh, that is so sweet, Darren. Thank you so much. I did meet him when we were in the 20s. Oh, thank y'all so much. And I'm sharing my personal experiences because I want us to be I want us to be knowledgeable. I want us to have wisdom when it comes to who we are connecting to, because the person you connect to has a lot to do with where you go in your future. Sometimes if a person don't want to talk about anything or do not want you to ask them, be careful. They could have narcissistic. Oh God, they want control. Yes, yes. That narcissism, we're going to talk about all those personalities as we go through this. Listen. All right. Sometimes you got to walk off and choose you. Yeah, too many women are trying to be a wife to come. Yes, let's talk about this. Too many women trying to be a wife to a boyfriend. I'm telling you, one thing I have learned in the dating arena is that it is not I should not require myself to prove my value. This is heavy, y'all. Listen, especially as a woman, you know, the world tells us that there's 6 women to 1 man. Well, guess what? In the dating world, as a queen, I have the capability to decide who I want to entertain and choose who I want to be with. But some of us, because the dating pool is small in certain places where we live, we've decided that we've got to outshine or outprove the next queen. And so you go over, again, that word overcompensating. So you begin to overcompensate for what you feel like that man wants to see to prove that you're the best choice, when truth of the matter is it should be a mutual decision to be in a committed, exclusive relationship. So me doing wifely things for a boyfriend is me overcompensating, trying to prove that I am the best choice. When the truth of the matter is that we should be choosing each other. And this should be a conversation between 2 people that requires maturity to say that we are in a committed relationship and that we are both going to stand by the decision to be together. So overcompensating, doing all these wifely things. What does he have to look forward to if you do everything in the dating phase? What does he have to look forward to marrying you? If you do everything you do as a wife in the dating phase, what does he have to look forward to when he marries you? I just gotta, somebody please answer that for me. So if I'm out here in these day streets and I'm doing everything that somebody wants in the dating phase, then what is there for him to be motivated to continue to be exclusively committed to me and get to the point that we are getting married if I'm doing everything in the dating phase? Oh, yes, absolutely, Darren. And some of us, look at this comment, and this is from a man. So listen, ladies, he's giving us some dime. Some of us have tendencies, wifely tendencies. I know I'm one of those people that I thank God for my foundation and for my teaching on how to be a lady that I received from the women in my village. And so it's easy for me to be a wife because I have those tendencies. I watch women in my family be wives for years. And so I have had to do my work, absolutely, to be careful, because it's easy for me to do those things. But guess what? Until we are in that situation, there are certain things that I have to reserve for the wife, for the wifely duties. There are some things that you won't get from me as a boyfriend because you have not given me the level of commitment that makes me enticed to do those special things for you. So again, ladies, if we're doing everything in the dating world, what is the motivation for the man to marry you? And men, same thing. There are some things you should only do for a wife. And if you're doing all those things when you're dating her, then those things won't be special when you marry her. So there are some things that should be reserved for your wife, for your husband, so that you can have some special things that are only for them when you decide to take that move. Absolutely. Great point. It says, good morning. Good morning, everybody. Thank y'all for jumping on. Do not be afraid to ask questions and tell a person what you're looking for and see what they're looking for. And if it don't agree with what you're looking for, walk away. Don't settle. Absolutely. Absolutely. Too many men are trying to be a husband to a woman, and that's not what she wants. Come on. Yes. Like I said, it goes for men and women. Men try to be a husband, you provide, you doing everything, you bringing her up, you caking her, you doing everything, she going on trips, you are doing so much in the dating phase that she may not even see you as a husband, and it gives her the opportunity to use you and for you to feel like you're taking advantage of, when truth of the matter is you are doing too many things too early. And it's okay to wait and hold some things back. Right. There's nothing, absolutely nothing. If you do everything in the dating, there's nothing left for marriage. Why buy the cow when the milk is free? Yes, absolutely. Okay, so let's move on. We've got a few more minutes left before we got to end. This is good, y'all. We got a few more things to cover real quick before we got to end this. Okay. So we talked about self-inflicted damage. We talked about dating require maturity. The next thing that dating requires is wisdom. Not only have I got to be mature enough to be willing to have the right conversations, I've got to be wise, and it will help me to avoid unpleasant results of unwise choices. So I've got to be able to use my wisdom. Again, we have to be willing, y'all, to slow this thing down. Because what happens is you start catching feelings, you get emotional, you start having sex or whatever you're doing, whatever you've agreed upon. And once that emotional thing starts, we are so easy to just overlook the flags. It's so easy, y'all, because you going by, oh my God, every time I get around this person, my stomach feels queasy. Have you ever thought about maybe that's your spirit giving you an indication that something may not be right? But we say, oh my God, every time around them, I get butterflies. Maybe, have you ever taken the time to say, is there something about them that these butterflies are me feeling nervous or anxiety? It's not always that, oh my God, I'm in love. It may be your inner man telling you, maybe you need to take a pause. Maybe I need to think, am I feeling nervous around him? Is it butterflies for real? Or is this my inner person saying that something might need to be looked at here? Why do I feel this nervous feeling every time I get around them? Is it true nervousness, or is it your inner person trying to tell you, hold on, take a look, let me see what's going on? Debbie says, conversation is key. I'm an upfront person when it comes to dating. I like for you to know where I am, what I want from you. It gives a person a choice of whether they want to continue. Absolutely. Don't take someone's choice away. Be honest, be open. Don't take someone else's choice away. When you're not honest and open, you're taking the other person's choice away. And who wants to be in a relationship where they don't have options? Everybody wants options. Why do you think they make things in 15,000 colors? You could get one shirt and it be available in 8 colors. Why? Because people want options. But when you take my option away by being dishonest when I meet you or when I talk to you, or what your expectations are, and you're not honest, so you don't tell the truth, then you're taking my option away. And so we're entering in under falsification. The next point he made in the book is a whole heap of unwise choices has caused a lot of heartache, heartbreak, and most of all, heartburn. Yes. So listen, maturity is required for dating. Wisdom is required for dating. Even though this is not a Christian broadcast, there is a scripture that talks about this. It says, a prudent man sees evil and hides himself, but the naive proceed and pay the penalty. How much plainer can you get? If you're unwise and you see it coming and you keep going anyway, you don't pay attention to the flag and you keep going anyway and walk right past it, live right past it, talk right past it, have sex over it, guess what? You end up costing yourself a lot of time, energy, and resources. Come on. So even the Bible tells us that we need to watch the flags. If you see it and you don't pay attention, it's going to end up costing you time, that you can't get back, energy that you could have used on something else, and resources that you work hard for and were taken advantage of. Indeed, yes. So here we are. The sex conversation. Why we shouldn't have sex during dating. This makes things complicated. Yeah, it does. Some things are deal breakers. Come on, Tamika, you getting to my next topic. I love this. This is flowing so well with us on today. So let's talk a little bit of, so it's out there, y'all. I told y'all this is not necessarily a Christian broadcast. We're going to talk to everybody. If you have sex during the dating phase of the relationship, you have not had the exclusive conversation, you are not moving toward marriage, then guess what? It opens you up to a level of emotionalism, a level of things that you deal with where you have connected yourself now with this person. When you exchange body fluids, you have gone there. Okay. And so you got to make a choice for you in dating. When do I introduce sex? First of all, do I introduce sex? Am I going to be celibate while I'm dating? That's one choice you got to talk about. Am I going to be celibate while I'm dating? Okay. Someone sent me a question already about masturbation in dating. So we're going to have one of these Saturdays just going to be about sex, because it's too, people mystify sex and all of that, make it super spiritual. Listen, some of us Christians have so many strong opinions about it. So we're going to talk about it from a variety of viewpoints. But if you got to decide, am I going to have sex while I'm dating? Is that what I want? If I'm going to be celibate, you need to tell the person. Because if you don't tell them, and a lot of people are not living their lives that way. So if you don't tell them, yes, I have made a decision that it's best for me that I do not engage in sex while I'm dating. At least, you can say, I got to be married. I got to be engaged until we have the exclusive conversation. Whatever your boundaries are, you got to know what your boundaries are. If you don't know what your boundaries are, then you're going to open yourself up time and time and time again, and you're going to get hurt. So you got to establish, again, data requires maturity and wisdom. So you got to establish, where are my boundaries, and be okay with having them be what they are. Don't let other people convince you. No, the biggest thing I heard when I was a teenager is, if you love me, you'll do it. Come on, y'all. We shouldn't be using that still in 2023. But there are some people that are out there that says, you know what? If you really feeling me, if you really love me, and women, y'all, if you really feeling me, then we should, what's wrong with us going there? But if I've already decided that having sex during dating is not appropriate for me, or I'm protecting my emotional energy, then I shouldn't let you convince me otherwise. It should be an intelligent decision. I should say, you know what? I have decided that I do want to engage with this person. Okay. Or I do want to have sex with you. But it should be a decision. It should not be, I have to convince you that that's what you need to do. As an adult, you should know where your boundaries are. She said, yes, I wasted 5 years on the wrong person. But guess what? You are starting now from experience. So even though it didn't work out, don't let it be a waste, because you learned a lot, and you got to go back and do the work we talked about in the beginning of retrospective looking back. What flags did I miss? Where did I overcompensate? What could have been better? What didn't I communicate that I should have? That's right. And do it on the first date, especially this sex topic. Okay. Because this sex topic is real, and it causes a lot of conflict in the dating world. If you have decided that you're going to be celibate in dating, you need to do that. You need to have that conversation early. You really do. Because some people are not willing to accept that. And you don't want to you don't want to waste time in dating because you're not there. That's not what you want. And the person wants something different. And instead of making them continue to try to convince you that you need to be having sex, if you don't have that conversation early, then guess what? You're wasting your time. Because as a single person, if I've decided sex is not for me in dating, when we have an exclusive conversation, then I will introduce sex into the relationship. If you all are not at the same point, you are going to have conflict very early in the dating world. So you have to have that conversation, I agree, early on. Dating requires knowledge. So here we are. We're talking about watch the flags. So the part of this is going to be about knowledge, just simply learning the flags that we should be looking for. We're going to understand the green flags, which means if I see this attribute, yes, that is great. This person has that. I need that. That's what I want. Then that means it's safe to proceed. We're also going to discover the red flags, which means this is a warning. I shouldn't be moving forward. What did that scripture say? If I ignore it, it's going to cost me. So I need to just not move forward. And I don't know where we got the idea that just because you start dating somebody, it's got to be permanent. No, that's why it's called dating. So you need to be gathering information so that you can decide whether or not that is where you want to be. Okay, so knowledge number, what did we say requires? Wisdom, it requires maturity, and number 3, it requires knowledge. So those are the things we're going to be discussing over the next few weeks is the maturity that it takes to date, the knowledge it takes to date, and the wisdom that it takes to date. Those are the things that we're going to be talking about. All right. So once you are knowledgeable about the flags, guess what? You're going to be responsible. Again, we started it off with dating is about you, okay? Not always about the other person. There's some things that you have to get resolved within yourself to be out here dating. Once you are knowledgeable about the red and the green flags, then guess what? You're responsible for governing yourself accordingly. So guess what? Now that I knowledge is power, right? So once I've gotten the knowledge, the wisdom, the maturity to be dating, I've got to live up to what I now know. So it would be foolish of me to get this knowledge, to get this understanding, to invest this time on Saturdays and then not use it when it comes to dating. It's left up to you to act on it. We're going to give you tools. We're going to give you knowledge. We're going to have some guests to come on that's going to talk about some things. But guess what? It's left up to you to use it. It's going to be left up to you. Some people don't like responsibility, though. So guess what? It requires responsibility and maturity and knowledge. There are some people that have been foolish their whole life. They have perfected the representative. So they know how to date, they know how to talk, they know how to do all these things. But if you don't ask enough questions and you don't do enough, you don't spend enough time, you don't invest yourself in dating that person truly and slow it down, you got to be careful because there are some people who don't like the responsibility of being mature in relationships, who don't like the responsibility of being knowledgeable and using wisdom in relationships. So guess what? They're irresponsible and they're irresponsible with themselves. They don't manage themselves. They don't manage their money. They go to work late all the time. Their house is not clean. They live, pillar to post. They are irresponsible. And if they're irresponsible with themselves, then guess what? They're certainly going to be irresponsible with you. So that is our introduction to our book club and this week's challenge. So every week we're going to introduce something new for you to do. Let me check out our comments before we go to this last part. Self-work, soul work. Yes. People have to take time to heal and be whole. Absolutely. Yes. Oh, I love this. Vanessa says, isn't it funny how your family and friends can see the red flags in the person you're dating, but your emotions have you blind? Yes. Which is another reason why it's good to slow it down and not necessarily introduce sex so early when you're dating, because emotions, again, will cause you to see things that that will blind you, and the people around you can see it. And the sad part about it is, even if they try to tell us, we don't believe them. We don't trust it. We don't believe them because we are blind by what we are feeling. Miss Battle says, this is good. We need the knowledge. Yes, to talk about it. Absolutely. Absolutely. So here we are. Week 1 is our challenge. All right. Our challenge this week, here we go, is to redo your list. Redo your list. Okay. I want you to take some time to redo your list of must-haves. All right. Again, dating requires responsibility, maturity, knowledge, wisdom, all of these things, right? So we got to do the work. We have to do the work if we're going to do this thing successfully. So I want you to take some time this week before next Saturday and redo the list. We all have it, whether it's written down or not, it's in your head. I want this, I want this, I want this. A lot of it is superficial. They got to look this way, they got to smell this way, they need nice teeth. There we have the list. Whether you want to admit it or not, you have the list. Okay? So I want you to take time this week and redo your list. Now that we've started this conversation about maturity, about knowledge, about my boundaries, where I'm at when it comes to dating, the challenge for this week before next Saturday's meeting, I want you to redo your list. Okay. And I want you to get that list down to just 5 deal breakers. And I know this is going to be tough because we got a whole list of likes. Okay. But I want you to get out of the like category because, again, we're being mature about this, right? So I want you to get out of the like category and go into deal breakers. What are some things that I cannot tolerate? Okay. And in order for me to live in a relationship successfully with this person, I'm going to give you 2 of my examples. One of my examples is the inability to control your emotions when you are angry. Because I've been a victim of domestic violence before, and I'm going to share some transparent things on here, so it's fine. I'm healed. I'm good. But because I've been a victim of domestic violence in a previous relationship, that is a deal breaker for me. If you get upset and you cannot control your emotions and you are not emotionally intelligent enough to handle yourself when things don't go your way, that is an absolute deal breaker for me. That is something I will not tolerate. It doesn't matter how much we've dated, I enjoy you. If you cannot control yourself and your emotions and you are not mature enough to handle yourself as an adult, when you get upset, that is an absolute deal breaker for me. Another deal breaker for me is a person who does not have the ability to understand the call that I have on my life from God. So even though this is not a Christian-based broadcast, I myself am a Christian. I have been ordained as a minister of the gospel, and whoever I decide to be with has to be either understanding or able to accommodate that piece of me, because I'm called to speak to people. There are people that reach out to me behind the scenes, and I can't be with a person who does not understand that, or who is jealous of me communicating with people, who does not understand that there will be times where I have to prioritize my time because there are lots of things that require my attention. I'm going to always be present and always give you focused time, but there will be days where I have to have time aside to prepare and do things that God has called me to do. And those are things that I will never compromise on. So those are 2 things that, if you're going to date Queen Cassandra Haynes, those are 2 things that are deal breakers. If you cannot control yourself emotionally when you are angry, and you cannot accept a person who has to share their time occasionally with other people, then those are deal breakers. So I want you to take some time this week and think about 5 things that are absolute deal breakers. If you don't have 5, great, but you could have more than 5. But I am going to ask you to focus and come up with those 5 things that would cause you to absolutely break it off if it went there. Okay. 5 things, just 5 things. Take the challenge, y'all. If you're out here, that means you're interested in dating. I want you to do your work. So take the time this week. Think about this before next Saturday. 5 things that are absolute deal breakers. Okay. Emotional maturity is important. Yes, it is. Okay. So take a time, do those 5 things. Lastly, 2 more things. Actually, if you want to hear more about the subject, of course, this is the book. I encourage you to get the book because there's so many nuggets. We're gonna cover quite a bit of it. But if you want every detail, I encourage you to get this book called Watch the Flags from Dr. Conway Edwards. This is what we're covering. Go to Amazon, go to his church. It's called One Community Church. So go to his church website and order it. I've posted it everywhere on my page. There's a link in the comments where you can actually order the book. It's not very long, but it's power packed. Also, you can do. I was at first exposed to Dr. Conway on the Dear Future Wifey podcast. If you are not following Lateris Whitfield, you need to be, okay. And one day God will let me meet him and come across his path. But you need to watch the Dear Future Wifey podcast. It was birthed out of his irresponsibility in his marriage, and he is now single, and he is discovering love again. So you can go to the Dear Future Wifey podcast on YouTube. It is in season 6, episode 605. Okay, so if Dr. Conway, he interviewed Dr. Conway, he talked a lot about the book and some other things. So if you want to hear more from Dr. Conway Edwards, you can absolutely visit the Dear Future Wifey podcast. It's in season number 6 and episode 605. Okay. Lastly, before we get off today, I've thoroughly enjoyed this with you all this morning. I'm going to ask that you subscribe to my YouTube channel. So I am building up my YouTube channel. I have some things already posted there, but these broadcasts will absolutely be there for future reference. If you ever want to go back and re-listen to this again, it will be housed on YouTube moving forward. So we will go live on Facebook and YouTube every Saturday. But if you want to go back during the week and just want to get to it a little bit easier, you can always go to YouTube, type in Queen Cassandra Haynes, and the YouTube channel should pop up. I've got on a blue and black striped dress, and you can subscribe. Once you hit subscribe, it will let you know when the post is up for you to review. I'll start doing some things over exclusively on YouTube, and I don't want you to miss it. So make sure that you go to YouTube and subscribe. Again, you also may or may not know that I'm an entrepreneur. So we have Queen Bling, which is our accessories brand where we empower queens to bring out their inner sparkle. That is on Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Also, I'm on Instagram, Queen Bling Accessories, as well as Queen Cassandra Haynes. Lastly, people always tell me, you don't ever give me a chance to sow seeds. So guess what? I'm doing this because I'm called to do it. But if you feel led to plant a seed or to support the things that I am doing, you can send a Cash App, and there's the Cash App there. All right. So thank you so very much. It has been an absolute pleasure this week to introduce the Watch the Flag Books Club to you. I'm so excited about where we're going to go over the next couple of weeks. I hope that this has been helpful to you. Thank you for investing your time with me on this Saturday morning. Feel free to inbox me, send me a message, send a question during the week if you want to do that for us to talk about on the upcoming Saturday. Don't forget to do your homework, which is to redo your list. Get it down to 5 deal breakers. And we're going to talk a little bit more about the deal breakers and get into the actual green and red flags on beginning on next week. Thank you all so very much for your time. And I'm enjoying this, and I hope to see you next Saturday. Have an absolutely wonderful day today. Bye-bye.